Okay, so I'm going to talk in this video about what's been happening since July and October this year. Tom turned 4 in August, so that's his age now. The first thing is that because we started doing the picture cards, which I talked about in a different video, there's a link underneath to that to where you can find that if you haven't seen it. He's calmed down a lot more, so he's been able to work, develop his speech more, and also I've been able to help him more because I haven't been doing this constant behavioural firefighting, so that's been really good. First thing is he's repeating more. So if I say something like, oh, we're going to Hormond Hill, he'll say Hormond Hill, or people on television, or if I say, look over there, there's Sainsbury's, he'll say Sainsbury's, very enthusiastically, confidently. We're still mostly on 2-word sentences, but he's a lot more, there's a lot more of them, and he says them a lot more independently. So, for example, without any help or prompting, he'll say, music on, chocolate cake, straw please, tidy up, cut it up. But what we have done is I have taught him a longer sentence, which is this. I don't know if you can see it. It's I want, and then for example, apple juice please, okay? And then he can put a lot of different replacements in for apple juice. So I did this, I was inspired by the picture cards, and also the fact that Tom he's very good at reading things. He can pick up a lot of stuff. For example, once on the Sky TV menu, he just picked up Bear Grylls, which I thought was amazing, and he knows a lot of brand names by sight, and his reading really is above his age. So I used this, and basically what I did was I got post-it notes and I put them out, so whenever he pointed, he might point at a cracker, and then I'd go to say cracker, and then I modelled this sentence for him. So he'd point at cracker and I'd say, I want cracker please, or I want apple juice please, and I would just keep saying this and saying this and saying this. I didn't force him because the speech therapist told me not to do that, and eventually, it was probably, I don't know, a few weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, he started to be able to say them. So he would point at cracker and I would actually do this, and he would say the words himself. And we're now at the stage where he just says them, that we don't need any help, and he says it all the time. The real breakthrough for me was one day we'd been to this soft play centre, and the next day we were driving along. This would be about a month after I started doing it, and we turned off to go somewhere else, and he was furious because he wanted to go to the soft play centre, and he started getting really cross, and he said, I want play. Now, I'd never taught him that word play in these, because I'd just been teaching him things, and that was brilliant for me because I thought he's taken what I've taught him and he's using it independently, and he's made a brand new sentence. So that's given me a lot of hope for Tom, and that's really, really good. And I'm now working on expanding that, so I'll obviously talk about that in a different video. His pronunciation's improving. So in June, a lot of it was just very, very indistinct, and most people, I don't think they could really understand him if they didn't know him, apart from words like apple. And there are still some words that are indistinct, like cheese, he says D, fish is B, yes is eh. But now he can say things like chocolate and instructions. He picked up some instructions the other day. He said them really clearly. Have to put this down to the fact that we've stopped giving him a sippy cup. I'm quite embarrassed about this, that I've carried on giving him one, because he always seemed to love it. And then it just occurred to me a few weeks ago, should he really have one? And I looked online and there were a couple of articles from speech therapists saying after the age of 3 they definitely shouldn't. And it's made me see how much you can just be, you can get into this state where you're so focused on I must do this, I must do that, and then there are other things that are, you know, it should be blindingly obvious that I should have stopped giving him a sippy cup, but I didn't. So there you go. So I definitely say if your child's pronunciation is not great, I'd say stop with the sippy cup. What I was advised to do was to give him a straw. Well, that has worked really well and he likes it, so give up the sippy cup. And the last thing that's happened is there's more attempts at talking. So he's always babbled, and he's always babbled to himself, blah, 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 sort of thing. But I've noticed in the last month there's been a lot more looking at me, giving me a really, you know, a really clear message. Clear in his mind, it's not being clear to me. I couldn't understand anything he was saying. But I have to be positive because this is it's him wanting to communicate. And if they haven't got that desire to communicate, you're not going to get anywhere. So that's a real snapshot of where he is now compared to where he was in June. For me, it's very much a roller coaster, and I've got used to it now. So I have some days where I just feel full of despair, and I wonder what's going to happen to him. I have some days where I'm so confident and he'll get there and it's fine and I'll just keep helping him. I have some days where I'm so tired with everything else going on, or I'm not very well, or it just feels too much and I feel like I've got too much on my shoulders to do this, and then I feel really guilty. So I've just realised that I just need to accept the fact that this is a roller coaster for me, and the thing I think is that when I'm feeling low is just to take my thoughts with a pinch of salt, I think, and even just go for some distraction, something like that. But when I'm feeling good, that's the time to make these videos, and hopefully I can give something to other people in the situation, and also make cards, and if I can think of different games, that's a good way to do it. So if you're feeling up and down and finding that you're all over the place with your emotions, don't worry. You know, it's completely normal, and the best thing I think you can do is to just keep talking to people who've been through this, who are going through it, try and get as much information as you can, but don't expect yourself to have all the answers, because this is the thing with Tom, and I think with a lot of children of this age, he's still a mystery. We don't know what the outcome is. He hasn't got a diagnosis. And they're still very young. At this age, children are still very young, and we need to support their potential as much as possible, but also realise that we're human, and also these are our children. These are the most precious things in our lives. I mean, it's hard to be objective, and it's hard to always be, you know, super positive and super confident, because, like I say, we're only human.